Hey, what is happening, Cowboys Nation? And welcome back after we had a little bit of a hiatus due to illness and
Illness,
life
yeah.
and things like that. But thanks for coming back and hanging out with us. Especially after this 31-10 to loss to Buffalo that
Yeah.
it
I was
stings, but
I was, down for about 3 weeks with a sickness, and then that Buffalo game made it worse somehow.
right.
Um, Honestly, didn't expect that from the Cowboys, to be honest with you. Just the way we had been playing, everything that leading up to that, like, did not expect us to come out and be that bad in so many facets of the game, really.
Right.
Um, it
It
it it was difficult to watch.
it really was. Exposed that run defense and how it and unfortunately exposed it when we face off against two teams coming up that actually do have a really great run game. We'll talk about that big brained head coach that we're facing on Sunday and his schemes and everything like that in a bit.
Mhm.
But it just every single level all the way down. It's this game
Well,
and
yeah.
you can't even call it a trap game because, they're one of the good teams, that was supposed to be one of the big teams. And now it's brought up oh, Cowboys can't win at home or
Or on the
away.
road,
Oh,
yeah.
I mean on the road. We can definitely win at home. We should
Yeah.
have all games at home. But
Why Jerry doesn't wanna give up a home game. He's like,
right,
"Hey."
right. Yeah. So, I I don't even know where to start as far as
Honestly, like, let's start with the run defense, honestly, because that's the big storyline right now is that run defense and what the issue is. And, yes, it was a big problem. It was a problem last year. Um, I pounded the table that it wasn't as big of a problem as everybody made it seem, and it really wasn't. And then this year, it's the same thing. It's seen as the same level as last year, but actually, it's not. And if you really break it down, you really look at it. There's two games that have really killed us in the run game. We couldn't stop the run at all. Arizona in
Mhm.
week 3, when nobody played well on the entire team. Like, nobody showed up to that game. And then last week in Buffalo, when again, nobody really showed up and played well. I think this week there was a little bit you can point to, and I don't want to make excuses, but you can point to in this aspect of, hey, there were some major injuries going on with the
Mhm.
team. Jonathan Hankins was gone, and then you also had Malik Hooker.
Like
And
Hooker, yeah.
while Malik Hooker isn't necessarily this great run stuffer from the safety position, Malik Hooker plays back and he plays
Right.
that deep safety role. With him out, it forced Donovan Wilson, Jaron Curse, who are those run support safeties, to play back and move back deeper, which hurt our run game, our run defense. So while that's not the entire picture, that is a good sized chunk of it, especially Jonathan Hankins, in my opinion.
Completely agree with you, completely, and then, we can throw in the factor that, yes, we are having to use these hybrid safety linebackers, when you have Hankins on that line and you've got that power and that stoppage there, then you don't really need to rely on a 250, 260-pound linebacker, to make those stops, and our tackling was horrendous.
Yes.
Did we forget how to tackle all of a sudden? I
Well,
mean, it was awful.
it was bad. And here's the problem is that when you don't have a guy like Hankins who's taking up those double team blocks, who's not being able to be moved, the offensive linemen aren't able to get to the second level. Those hybrid quick linebackers that we've been playing with in Bell and Clark, no one was complaining about them because they were flying around, they were not being touched, they were flying free, and they were making those tackles. Now, obviously, when you don't have someone like Hankins in there, you don't have that issue. You don't have people taking up the block. Those linemen are getting to the second level. They're getting bodies on those smaller linemen like Bell. Obviously, those guys are not going to be able to get off the blocks of these offensive linemen. And that is where you see the issue. And there's the safeties playing too far back. And it was just a perfect storm, really, so to speak, of a team being able to run on us.
Right, right. So I'm just gonna say my star player of the day of the game is Brandon Aubrey, and leave it at that.
That's about it. Yep. Brandon Aubrey.
you know, he's Aubrey-matic, and we're gonna go on from there with it.
Yeah, hey, Brian Anger didn't have a bad game either.
Right? Yeah, yeah. Well, so yay kickers.
So since we're talking about the run defense, let's talk about the big storyline of today. The giant storyline that everybody on Twitter or X is talking about right now is the debate of taking Micah Parsons, and not necessarily, and they've tried, people who are for this have tried to make it clear, not necessarily moving him full time to off the ball linebacker, but doing it more often and doing it for a good size portion and or obvious rundowns, first and second down, letting Parsons rush the passer as a third down passing situation player. What are your thoughts on this?
I absolutely do not want to take our number one pass rusher, best probably guy in the league, and remove him from it. Maybe make him rotational. There's no reason that you can't have him take some of that linebacker role. You can't have Sam. You can't have Sam back there. You can't have Fowler back there. There's no reason that couldn't be a rotational thing. But no, I do not want him to be taken away as our number one and just made a linebacker whatsoever at all. Somebody else can help carry that.
Here's my opinion. I'm not intentionally putting my defense in a worse situation. Okay. We all know that pass rushing is way more valuable than an off the ball linebacker position. And their argument to me is to take the best pass rusher in the entire NFL at the most important position on the defense and put him into the least important position on defense where he's not even close to the best at that position. Like, why would we do that? Right. I want to maximize Micah Parsons' talent. I want to maximize Micah Parsons' ability and maximize his impact on the game. Where you're going to get that is you're going to get that as a pass rusher, as the best pass rusher in the NFL. That's where you're going to get that. And I'm not changing at all. Like, I'm not moving him out there any more than he has been this year. Like, he is perfect where he is. Move him across the line. Let him be that weapon X, that gadget weapon, whatever you want to call it, across the line of scrimmage, and let him wreak havoc that way. And he has, and he does. I'm not taking him out where he can maximize his potential. I'm not doing it.
No, absolutely not. And Fowler has played some linebacker. I guess he used to play a lot of it. My other thought process is when, like I mentioned, the big brained head coach that we're going to be facing, if he sees that we've moved Micah off of pass rush, what's he going to do?
He's going to throw the ball.
Exactly. I mean, it just,
and you got
none of it makes sense to me.
You got an offensive line in Miami that is hurt and struggling right now. Why would you take Micah Parsons off that pass rush? I don't understand.
Because we know what happens to Tua if he's under pressure.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll talk about that because that's a factor of that game. So,
but I understand people trying to look for a solution to the run. I honestly don't think it's bigger than that. We just got to get healthy. Honestly, I get it that even with our guys back, with Hooker back, with Hankins back, run stopping is not the strength of this defense. I get that, but it's not a liability with them. You look at some of the teams we played. The Rams did not run well against us. The Philadelphia Eagles in both games. Philadelphia Eagles, run heavy team. Neither one of them. They run very well against us. The 49ers, everybody talks about the 49ers. Look at the stats. Christian McCaffrey averaged like 3 yards a carry. Like, he did not run particularly well against us. So there has been evidence that when we're healthy, we actually do okay against the run outside of that Arizona and the Buffalo game. So I think it's being overblown. Of course, when a running back puts up 179 rushing yards on you, people are going to react. I get that.
Right.
But I don't think it is as big a problem as people are making it out to be. I think this is a knee-jerk reaction. Now, if it continues, hey, I'll eat crow, and like, hey, hopefully Hankins can get back as soon as possible. But I think it's kind of a knee-jerk reaction, to be honest.
Right. I kind of related it to that, what if we were super thin at tight end? We lost Ferg or something like that. I'm not moving CD to tight end.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. And that's literally what I'm seeing that people are like saying with Micah moving over.
Or
I saw
Pollard to wide receiver.
right.
I'm
I
not
saw
doing that.
comments.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen comments of, well, we drafted him as a linebacker. Did we? Didn't Dan Quinn and those guys maybe see something different and they knew what they could? Did we solely draft him as a linebacker? It just, give him the percentage that he has now. Like I said, maybe try Fowler there. Sam seems to be able to pick up other positions now that they're, gotten him on gunner and things like that. So mix it up. That would also kind of cause some confusion. You're not sure who's lining up where.
I absolutely love Parsons. Obviously, I think he's the best defensive player in the league. He's amazing. Parsons is not even an all-pro if he's playing off the ball linebacker.
Right.
He might even not be a pro bowler at this point. Yeah. Honestly, like he's not even a pro bowler at the off the ball linebacker. He's not the savior to the run stopping defense. Will he be okay? Yeah, he'll be okay. He won't be horrible at the position.
Right.
But he is an elite, best defensive player in the league rushing the pass rusher.
Right. And
he admits it.
Here's his tweet today because he saw us. He heard everybody and he had something to say.
It's right there.
You can't make it more clear.
It's because teams are running the ball and people like to panic. I'm probably leading every category in pass rushing besides sacks. People are nuts. And if people watch film, they take shots and pass more when I'm off the ball or out of the game. We have to get better, period. That's exactly what you're saying, Cam. When he is off the field or he's off the ball linebacker, teams go, oh, we don't have to worry about Micah Parsons pass rushing the quarterback anymore. Let's throw the ball. We got more time to throw the ball. Like, it's right there. Micah Parsons is even saying it. He understands his value and where he can make the biggest impact. He understands that the offenses are going to attack our defense differently when he's in those situations. So, look, I'm telling you, like,
I don't think our front office believes. I don't think
so.
Dan Quinn. I don't think Dan Quinn believes this. I think this was just a very big conversation to have on X today.
Yep.
I don't see Dan Quinn doing this. So
yeah, I agree. And so let's wash our hands of that Buffalo Bills game. Pretend let's just get over with it. It's an AFC loss. Yes, it hurts. It's a loss. It hurts even worse, but it's kind of good. I mean, it's not good, but like it's good that the Eagles lost on Monday Night Football.
Right. Thank you, Seahawks.
Yes, thank you, Seahawks.
And I don't say that very often.
Yeah, you definitely don't. But it kind of sucks because, hey, we would have that game lead, that game cushion on the Eagles if we would have won, but we didn't. Wash our hands. Let's move on to this week. AFC opponents, Miami Dolphins, 10-4. And the first thing I want to talk about is everybody made a big deal about the Cowboys not beating a team with a winning record, which they have now. Miami Dolphins still have not. The Miami Dolphins are 10-0 against a team with losing records, and they are 0-4 against teams with a winning record. And they have been beaten pretty good by those teams with the winning record. So there's a lot of questions about them.
Yeah, this isn't a home field advantage for them either by any means.
Here's the thing. Sorry to interrupt, but
No,
like
no.
you make a great point there because I was kind of worried. I was recently watching a video of how I don't know if you've seen this, how the Dolphins stadium is designed and the angle it sits at to where in afternoon games, their stadium is sorry, their side of the field with their players, their bench is in the shade the whole time. And the visitor side is in the blazing sun in the Miami heat. And they said when it's really hot, it's about a 20-degree difference and it drains the other team. Well, you're not going to
Interesting.
have that this week because
No.
it's going to be like 75 degrees there.
Right. Right. No. Not only that, but the majority of people from Florida aren't from Florida. You know,
I like it.
they're snowbirds, they're transplants, things like that. So I don't foresee it being an advantage. I don't think that crowd gets particularly loud. I don't even know if we'll have to go to a silent snap count, anything like that. So and I don't want to ever have to rely on those kind of factors being some kind of reason why things go wrong. But we
Yeah.
do have places that you do go that is a factor. If you're in Seattle, you're at Arrowhead, Buffalo, those fans they're extra themselves.
Yes.
So
So like I said, it's not like you were saying, it's not really a stadium that's going to be in bad weather. It's open stadium, but it's not going to be a stadium that is in bad weather like 65. I think it's supposed to be cloudy, but not really. That's what it's projected right now. Obviously it can change, but it doesn't look like it's going to rain or anything like that. So we're going to have some good weather, and it's going to allow us to open it up and throw, which I think the Dolphins want to do as well. They like speed. Cowboys are a speed team as well, so
right.
that's going to help the Cowboys in that respect playing in that stadium.
I agree.
I'm actually trying to look up right now. I don't know if they are turf or not, or if they are grass field. I don't know.
Sure.
Anyways, let's get into some offensive and defensive matchups with the two teams.
Okay. Actually, you know what? Do you want to go through the injury report real quick?
Oh yeah, let's do the injury report.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I do have I believe this is the current one. And it's interesting on both sides. And I do find it'll be a bit of a factor in each way. Tyreek's gonna play. We'll just take that right off the board now. I'm pretty sure. I don't foresee that. It looks like they're getting Javon Holland. Their safeties are healthier than they have been in quite a while. The interesting one that popped up today that hadn't been, but he was still full, was Lester Cotton.
Okay.
This offensive line is banged up. And they've already lost Connor Williams.
Yep.
And so some of that is, and Hunt's got the Hunt and Jackson could very well be that they were veteran rest days with these injuries they have going on. I think Mosert's going to play. I don't think he'll be out.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I cut off for a second. My internet flicked.
Oh.
So I didn't know if you went over their like Robert Hunt and Austin Jackson. Those are two big ones that are not playing right now. Like, and I know I heard you say Connor Williams is already gone.
Yeah, he's gone. Cotton's hurt himself. That just popped up. I don't know if that happened it looks like it may have happened in Wednesday practice, whatever that hip is. And their corners are pretty banged up, especially for but we are at that time of the year where things have happened like that.
Yep.
But it does seem like the safeties are healthier than they have been in the past few games for them. And then if we look at our side of the ball, nothing is out of the ordinary until you see Tyron in the back. And I'm hoping that's just some soreness in the back.
Well, Tyron
And
really hasn't been practicing for
he
the last
hasn't.
few weeks, so I'm kind of hoping it's just, hey, these are Tyron Smith's days off. Um, Zach Martin, hopefully Zach Martin is good to go. But to be honest with you, like people aren't giving him enough credit. TJ Bass plays really well in relief of Martin. I know he's not Zach Martin,
Right.
but he plays decent in relief of of Zach Martin when he has to come in. It doesn't kill us, though we want to have him back, obviously. Um,
Tony Pollard in the thumb, I think that's just a time of the year that, an injury,
mhm.
something like that's gone on. I'm not super worried about that. I do like the fact that Malik was limited today and
Yep.
he's there. And so I feel like there's a really good chance that we will see him. I'm going to say we're not going to see Hankins. I think he's
Yeah,
still
no, I
out.
think he's out at least
And
for
Rico's
a
been
couple weeks. Yeah.
fighting that ankle problem for a while. So I don't think that that's something super out of the ordinary. So it the one that I'm like, I'm just hoping that is with Tyron, that he's got some back soreness
Yep.
and that he'll be
It's just
back. And
it's just a Tyron Smith day, you know.
right.
That's what I'm hoping, or Tyron Smith
I
week.
don't want Tyron to ever practice again.
Yeah, neither do I.
He
He
doesn't
plays
need it.
amazing without it.
He
Yeah,
doesn't.
absolutely.
What's he gonna gain out of practicing? So
So let's kind of get into this question. This question was asked a little bit ago by Freddie. The feelings on our O line. And I'll tell you right now, I'm going to feel a lot better about our O line if Tyron Smith and Zach Martin go. If
mhm.
Tyron Smith and Zach Martin can't go, then we got some major issues.
Yeah, because their defensive line is they've got Bradley Chubb out there, but they're not huge known names that are on this defensive
Yeah,
line, but they're
they're
tough
pretty good. Yeah,
guys.
they're,
Yeah.
they are good. And obviously, I just talked about TJ Bass, but like I said, he's not Zach Martin. You want Zach Martin. Zach Martin is going to give you that better player. And like West Side right here says that he's the heart and soul of that O line. He really is. He really is. My concern on this O line is Terrence Steele.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Especially if he's got Bradley
Yes.
Chubb over there on the other side.
Absolutely. Terrence Steele, and you want to hope that it's because of his recovery from his ACL, and it does take time. Offensive lineman, he rushed back, he pushed hard to get back, and he doesn't look the same. And you want to hope that, hey, this is just because of, he's still recovering from this, he's getting used to it, but he's struggling this year. And not only has he struggled, he has been bad. He has not been good in run blocking like he usually is dominant in run blocking. He hasn't been good, and he has just been outright bad at pass blocking. His pass blocking sets have been really, really bad this year. So we just got to hope for the best. There's nobody else that's better than him that we got that I would trust to be out there, honestly, right now. And we just got to hope that, hey, he continues to get better, continues to grow, and he can recover in the offseason, because he is kind of what he is for the rest of this year. And that Dak can see that pressure coming from that side because it's not his blind side, and be able to get rid of the ball. Like, Dak has managed it well, but Steele has not played great this year. So that's my main concern, besides obviously the injuries and getting them back.
Right. Yeah, you covered that. And then as far as looking at their secondary and everything like that, they don't typically play man in that way. And I don't know if they'll put Jalen Ramsey on CD. So I can't give it away, but that's going to lead me to my player to watch for on this offense.
I think Jalen Ramsey has actually complained a couple times this year that they don't let him shadow. So I don't think they will shadow CD. So
it'll be interesting, but they, like we've mentioned, they've got some speed on the secondary too, and getting Javon Holland healthy is going to be big. That kid's great.
Yep. Yeah, he is.
And then that is it Van Ginkel?
Yes, Van Ginkel.
He can be
He c
pretty disruptive.
he can be disruptive. He's gonna give Steele some issues because he's one of those, "I'm not super talented, but I'm gonna try really hard," guys. That's
You're right.
and, like, "Hey, I'm gonna try really hard, and because I'm trying really hard, and if you're not trying just as hard, I'm gonna beat you." Like,
Right.
that's the type of guy he is, and so I'm worried about that a little bit just because, like you said, he can be disruptive, and Dak's gonna have to pay attention to that. 100%. This is a secondary Ferg can have a good day with. Ferg
Mhm.
should have been able to have a good day last week in
Yeah.
Buffalo. They're super susceptible over the middle. That's why I hate playing desperate teams, guys. Like, honestly, I hate playing desperate teams because they give it their all. And so that's what we saw in Buffalo. We saw a team at home in their elements, and they were super desperate because they came into they came into that game as the 11th seed, and if they lost, their playoff chances dwindled a lot. So they came in super desperate. Not an excuse. I still think we should have been able to beat them or at least play with them. But that I hate playing desperate teams. This is not so much of a desperate team. This is just a team that's a good team who's fighting for a number one seed. They're going to be
Who's
at
got a
home.
really smart head coach.
Who's got a very smart
Oh,
head
he's
coach.
so smart.
Very smart head coach who we've got to be prepared for. We honestly
Mhm.
have to be prepared for. Dan Quinn has to be backwards hat Dan Quinn
Oh,
on
yeah.
Sunday.
Well,
100%.
that and then, we are facing Fangio that when he was at Denver, that was that awful game that he said that he knew exactly every single move we were gonna make.
Yeah.
And so
It's a
I would like a
different
little
offense.
redemption.
It's a
Yes.
different offense. Hopefully that, we can show it and, give Dak that time. We all know when Dak has time, Dak can cook. He can kill the defense. He can kill a secondary. We just got to come to play. We did not look like we came to play last week. We honestly didn't. Like, I
Mm-mm.
think maybe we were getting into our own heads. We were letting all the talk get into our heads. I don't know. We just didn't come prepared. We have to come prepared. And I saw on here, um, just get into this real quick. The Cowboys have to win this game. The
We
Cowboys
don't.
want to win this game.
Right.
We want to win this game. It's going to keep us in the number one seed. It's going to keep us in the conversation for that division lead. But if we lose this game, it's not an end all be all because we still have it's an AFC game. And we still have a little bit of advantage with the Eagles if the Eagles lose. If the Eagles lose another game, we'd have the tiebreakers with losing this game. But still, I get it. We want to win this game 100%. We want to win every game, obviously. What is a matchup you're really looking for our offense against their defense that you think the Cowboys can exploit?
Um you know, I mean, we kinda touched on it with Ferg and up the in the middle in there, but if I'm talking like a one-on-one, um, I you know what? I'm honestly gonna say it's gonna be Cook against Howard. I think I think Cook with his speed and his route running,
Mm-hmm.
I think that that could be somewhat of a mismatch on that side of it. I really do.
Yeah, I like that. I like that, and that's a good one. The comments we kind of already commented on it. Mine was coming into this was Ferguson. I think Ferguson over the middle, up the seam. Dak throws a beautiful seam pass up the middle. He attacks the middle so well. Ferguson's my guy who I think they can kind of use to exploit this defense a little bit, and soften it up a little bit for those guys over the top.
I'm also going to add in that, I mean, take Bradley Chubb out of it because, he's right that he's out there playing edge more and stuff like that. But their linebackers, they're not in any much better position than we are with
Yeah,
linebackers. It's their weakness of their defense, if you ask me.
yeah, I would agree
So,
with that.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think that can be exploited right there.
Once you get past that defensive line,
Right.
then
Yeah.
yeah, you can, but it's just getting past that defensive line that's been the issue. with them because they do have a solid run defense. They can get pressure, so you just got to be careful with that. Okay, let's
And
move.
I'm just going to say winner of this game gets to keep Cedric Wilson. Bring Ced home.
Bring Ced home. Like free Ced.
Exactly.
Because they
Bring him
don't use
home.
him. They don't use him at all.
They don't love him like we loved him. I'm telling you.
I wish
right
it was
now.
like I wish it was like the movie. I don't know if you've seen Semi Pro with Will Ferrell, where Andre 3000 just at halftime decided to switch teams and he went back to the other team like at halftime. Like I wish it was like that, where Cedric Wilson just comes out at halftime wearing a Cowboys jersey again. He's like, I traded sides. I'm back. I'm back with the Cowboys. Like that would be that would be awesome if we could pull something off like that. Okay, let's go to the defensive side of the ball. Let's talk about our defense that struggled last week, as we've talked about. What are some matchups on the defensive side of the ball that you're hoping can win this week for the Cowboys?
Well, how about Micah Parsons at the edge?
Yeah.
Straight over the top of Austin Jackson, How
about this? How about Micah Parsons lined up all over the defensive line and Micah Parsons over the center, backup center,
right,
for the Dolphins? That's what I'm looking at. Yeah, I want to line him up at nose tackle over the center as much as possible, because that, I guarantee you, that center ain't going to be able to block Micah Parsons.
Right. And he was, I think he's one of that's on the injury report this week too.
Mm-hmm.
So
mm-hmm.
It's going to be Micah. It's going to be Micah getting that pressure and getting to Tua. And that's probably because I mean now, and I can talk about concerns. I mean, how do you stop Tyreek? What do you do? Who do we have that's going to stay on him?
The elephant in the room of this off. And I think what worries me about this offense against our defense is, as great as he has been playing lately and how much I like him, I'm worried about Gilly against the speed of these Dolphins receivers. Right. And Gilly has, it's weird because he has some speed, straight line speed. If they run a post, he can stay with people. Right. He always has. It's those crossers over the middle, those long crossers over the middle, where he just doesn't seem to have the speed to keep up with those. And if Mike McDaniel can draw up some of those plays to exploit Gilly on those crossers, I'm a little worried, and we're going to have Malik Hooker back there to be able to help cover for those and save us from some of those big plays, because those could be big plays, because Gilly just really can't keep up with those routes, in my opinion. He just doesn't have that speed. And so I'm worried about that. The good thing, in my opinion, is that how do you stop deep passes? You get pressure on the quarterback.
And guess what we're really good at?
Guess what we're really good at, and why Micah Parsons needs to be on the defensive line rushing the pass of this game, because they have a really banged up offensive line, as we already gone over. We went over the injury report. Really banged up offensive line. We got some really damn good pass rushers. Get after Tua, and you're not going to give him the time to allow Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle to run those deep routes and get the ball off in time. That's how you stop this offense. That's how you slow down this offense and their passing game, is you get to Tua and not allow him the time to sit back there and Tyreek Hill get down 30, 40 yards downfield. That's how you're going to have to do it.
And this isn't a team that utilizes a tight end as, for passing very much. I think Smythe might have 200. I think I saw it earlier, 220 some yards for the season.
Yeah.
Waddle, I mean, he good player. He doesn't bother me half as much as Tyreek does at all.
He's got the speed of Tyreek. Yeah. He just doesn't have that explosive ability of Tyreek. He can explode. Mm-hmm. We saw last week where he hit that long touchdown pass for a TD. Like, he has the speed where he can make big plays, but it's just not to the level of a Tyreek Hill, and nobody is to the level of Tyreek Hill. So it's it. But to be fair, the Cowboys have had a really good record against Tyreek Hill in his career. He's only got one touchdown against him, and that was the most ridiculous play in Cowboys defense history, where against the Chiefs and the half was ending and they threw a 10, they lined up everybody in the end zone. They threw a 5-yard pass to Hill and he just ran it and nobody ran up and stopped him and he got a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a regular play that beat the Cowboys. So the Cowboys do have a decent history, knocking on some wood, against Tyreek Hill. But they still got to come to play. And I don't think they're going to shadow anybody. I think they're going to stick to their sides, and Bland on the right, Gilly on the left, and they're just going to play ball. They're going to line up and play ball. So,
and I do have to shout out to J. Lou. His play has been better.
His play has definitely been better. His
lately.
Play has definitely been better the last few weeks. I definitely give him credit there. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's get into some predictions.
Okay. Oh, you know what? I have one more thing to share.
You got one more? Okay, here we go.
I do have one more thing to share, and it's from our good friend Stevie J.
Oh, yeah,
and
this is great.
This is, everybody's, they're talking about, can't lose another one, da-da-da-da-da. Dak takes these things personally. Yes. He really does. He takes these losses personally, and look how he bounces back.
Those are some pretty good quarterback ratings.
Dude, yeah. I'm thinking those are, so if I was in Vegas and I was betting right now, those are pretty good odds. So
yeah,
nice use of the here we go, Stevie.
Here we go. Have you heard the song? Have you heard that?
Yeah, I did. I finally did.
It's so ridiculous. I was listening. I played it. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so ridiculous. People are creative, though. People will put anything into a song nowadays. But yeah, those are great numbers for Dak bouncing back. The Cowboys have been fantastic at bouncing back from losses the last couple of years. You've seen there, Dak plays great. The team usually plays great ever since Mike McCarthy's taken over. They really respond to loss as well. Even when, we lost a couple games earlier this year, we came back, we won the next game. We've played decent. We've played well in those games. So hopefully that's a sign of things to come with Dak Prescott and the Cowboys on Sunday. So let's get into some predictions.
Okay.
And I want you to give me your defensive player of the game.
So I know we've talked a lot about Micah, but I'm going to go with our unsung hero that I don't think gets enough praise, and it's going to be Tank.
Ooh, I like that one.
Like we've talked about this offensive line having troubles, and I'm hoping they are going to be focusing more on where Micah's lined up and maybe something else that's going on, and where Thomas or Bell is or something like that. And I think this is a Tank eats game.
I like it. I'm going to go where probably no one thinks I'm going right now. And this is going to be a game where player,
I think I know who you're.
This player has got a lot of negative press this week. And this player has been looked down upon, and he's not good enough. He's not ready for this role. He's not big enough to play the position. My defensive player of the game is going to be Bell, because Bell is here. He's heard you guys talking. He's heard you. He's too small to play linebacker. He's not good enough. We need to move the best defensive player out of his position to cover for this. No. Bell is going to have a great game. He's going to dominate. He's going to tackle well, and his speed is going to help us tremendously against this Miami Dolphins offense, who is built on speed. So give me Bell having a fantastic game. I'm going to say Bell gets his first pick of the year.
Nice.
Give me Bell with a pick this year.
Very nice. I would like Jaron Kearse to have a very good game.
I would like
I
Jalen
would
Hurts to
think
have a
that
big
that
game.
is going to be a very solid way to make sure that we beat this team is if
Yes.
Mr. Curse, if you could step up and do those kind of things that you can do.
Yes. Absolutely. Okay. Offensive. Who is your offensive player of the game? I think
I'm
you
not
already hinted at it
I
before,
did.
but
I did. And it should be of no surprise, but this is a Brandon Cooks game to me. This really is that
last time you called a Brandon Cooks game, what was it? What did he go for? Like
100
one
and
160 something?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, once again, this is a Brandon Santa Claus. I have been a good girl this year. And I would like to ask you that Brandon Cooks has an amazing game. But no, I really feel like the matchups with this, the focus that could be on CD, the just everything about this is screaming to me that this is another big one from Brandon Cooks. And I'm going to go out on a limb once again, and I'm going to say he's going to go for 120
120.
this
Okay.
game.
I
Yeah.
like it. I like
Yeah.
it. I'm going to go. I'm sorry. I apologize beforehand, but I'm going to go for the obvious pick. It is going to be Dak Prescott. And it is
Nice.
going to be a redemption game. And it's going to be, hey, I deserve to still be in this MVP conversation game. And I'm saying Dak is going to put up 300 plus yards and 4 passing touchdowns.
Nice.
Dak
Nice.
is going to go off. He's going to show the league, I'm still Dak Prescott. I'm still the guy that you've been talking about for the last month.
Is he the only player you know that can have one bad game and all of a sudden he's not in the MVP talk anymore? Like it was done.
Yeah.
You were done. You're not even part. You have been the best quarterback
You've been the
for the
best quarterback
last
all year
8
long.
weeks. You know, since the
You,
bye, you have been the best quarterback and you had one bad game and now you're not even considered.
it's
What
it's
is
all
that?
the cockroaches come out and they all, you heard it, like, oh, there you are. We knew you'd be back. They were just waiting to say that. They were
Right.
waiting, and it took a long time. But
Even though
I'm
Jalen
sorry,
Hurts has
guys are
not
allowed.
thrown a
Yeah,
touchdown since the middle of November.
they haven't won a game since November.
Yes.
So here's the thing, like, they just want to hate on the guy. They're like, quarterbacks are allowed to have bad games. Josh Allen's
Mhm.
had bad games. Jalen Hurts has had bad games. Patrick
Mahomes is
Mahomes has
yeah.
had bad games. Every Dak has had bad games. Like, Aaron Rodgers has had bad games. People have bad games. It happens. It's the NFL. These are professional athletes, and they're damn good at their job. So you're not going to win
Mhm.
them all. You're not going to dominate them all.
There's
So
not one of the major big teams that the strongest teams that are up top hasn't stumbled
yeah,
this
not a
year.
one. You
Not a
haven't.
one.
So look, I think Dak's going to have his huge bounce back game. I think he's going to put up those MVP type numbers. It's going to be a statement game. Of course, the narrative after the game is going to be, well, it's the Dolphins. They don't win against teams that don't have a winning record. That's the narrative that's going to
Of
come out.
course.
I don't care. He's going to dominate, and he's going to have a big game. So that's what I'm going with. Dak Prescott, that's going to be your offensive MVP. You can book that. Take it to Vegas. Okay. So give me a bold prediction for this game. I can hear the nails clicking.
It's like, Well, I kind of gave okay. I will do one for each side. So I've already said my Brandon Cooks one.
Mm-hmm.
My defensive one is, you know what? It just feels like you kind of already hinted to it with Bell and his interception.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to give Bell an interception. I'm going to give Bland an interception. And you know what? We're going to go a little wild. And big
Uh-oh.
old Osa's going to get his big old pop and grab
Osa.
one. Osa.
Osa. He's going to
Let's
tip
do
one
it.
to himself. There we go. I
Yeah.
love it. And Tua
Yeah.
will give you candy.
Right.
Tua will give you candy.
Exactly.
So,
And
all
so
right.
Osa will just be there, his big O self, who I also have to shout out, was looking at through some tape today of him. Man, he is getting off his blockers so well.
Mm-hmm.
He is doing
Mm-hmm.
so good. And you know what, Jerry? Just don't screw around and extend him before he balls out the rest of this year and
Yeah.
he shows what he's got next year. And
Just
we might end up losing him considering everybody else we have to sign.
get
Just
him signed. Yep,
yeah,
absolutely.
let's
Osa is
get
a
that out of the
beast.
way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I feel like I'm kind of feeling a vibe here. You have your vibes of like, oh, it's the Brandon Cooks game. Oh, it's this person game. I'm having a vibe that it is the Bones Fossil game.
Ooh.
And I'm having a vibe that this year, a couple times, teams have faked punts on us and have been successful, and we really haven't responded in any way. I'm looking for a successful fake punt from
All
Bones
right.
Fossil this week that turns into a big play that leads to a touchdown drive. A successful fake punt this week from Bones Fossil.
Has
That's
anybody seen Brian Anger throwing out there this week?
I
Has anybody
I
watched
have not.
practice and seen him?
Yeah, that would be a great tip. But I don't know how it's going to happen, if he's going to throw or they're going to snap it to the up man or what. But something's going to happen. Bones Fossil is going to pull out a rabbit out of his hat and have a trick play on a punt fake, and it's going to end up being a big play in the game for us. That's my bold prediction for us.
Nice.
Okay, so let's get to the bare bones of this. What's your game prediction?
34-27 Cowboys.
34-27 Cowboys. That's very similar to West Side. He's
Oh.
got 34-24.
All right.
Okay, so that's a good one. I have it as 31-24. I
Okay.
think so we're all like in that same
Mhm.
little atmosphere, that same exact range. I think it's going to be a tight game. I think it's going to come down to the end. I think it's going to come down to the end, and I think that Dak and the Cowboys are going to have to make a drive to win the game, and then Dak is going to do it. He's going to put it together. So give me Dak with 4 touchdown passes, like I said. That's 28, and to get that 31 is going to be a 60-yard field goal from our boy Aubrey.
Who says he can hit a 70?
He says he can hit a 70. See, I actually like indoors. Indoors, I think he might be able to, because if you go back and you watch that 60, what is it, 60 or 61 yarder? I think it's 60 yarder. You go back and look at that. That had a good 8 yards on it. Like that had a good 8 yards, because that will put you in the range right there by 70. So I want them to if we get there and we're indoors and we're in Dallas in a dome, or we're somewhere in a dome and it's going to be a 70 or 69 yarder, I kind of want to give this kid a shot at it.
I think it'd
be would you be upset if we did?
No.
Yeah.
And you know what?
And
I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I mean, it with the Lions game, if we're blowing them out, you're in the fourth quarter, everybody
70 yarder on second down.
Just let them have some fun, So yeah, no. But and you know what, you soccer moms out there, take note.
Yeah, the kid never played soccer until the NFL. He's never played kicker until the NFL.
Right.
Absolutely blows my mind. So if your kid's not the best soccer, well, actually he was a pretty darn good soccer player.
He was a good soccer player, but
still, absolutely. So that's pretty much what we got for the show today, and we got the game on Sunday. What is it? 3:25 game for you guys.
Yep, we are 3:25.
3:25.
Christmas Eve. Santa's hopefully bringing us those presents early, and
absolutely. And like we said, it's not necessarily a must win, but it's hey, this will really go a long way if we win. It gives us a shot at that number 1 seed, because if we lose, we don't have a shot at the number 1 seed, really. It's pretty much no chance. But winning keeps us in that chance. It gives us a running, because the 49ers don't have the easiest schedule, to be honest, the remaining. They have 2 really tough games.
They
And if
do.
they lose both of those and we win out, we can jump them.
No.
But
One or two. You know what? I'm going to be happy if we can stay at home. We have proven,
yeah,
that the comfort of this team and the confidence this team has playing at home, and it would be in
yeah, we need to
it'd be in
stay
our
at
best way.
we need to stay at 2. To be honest with you,
Right.
like
Right.
that's our best shot. So that's pretty much what we got. Anything else you want to add?
We still have our Michael Gallup signed autograph jersey that we would love to give away.
Yep.
If we can get those numbers up on our subscription. So subscribe, hit that button so you get the notifications. Tell your friends.
Yes. Share it out. Tell your friends. Hit that little notification bell so you know when we go live or we post a video or something like that. Please tell your friends. We want to grow this show. We want to expand and spread the word as much as we can. We appreciate everybody in here. We appreciate all the comments. Thank you for joining us, sitting in here and listening to us. We really appreciate all you guys.
Right. And I just want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and much happiness. I hope you have a great time with your family. I hope we have an amazing afternoon on Christmas Eve. And we'll definitely get this show in. We've got to get it in before next week because I'm heading to the Sugar Bowl to watch my dogs play. So, and I do love all you Longhorn fans, and I really do appreciate how respectful that you have been. Like when we have conversed about things on the timeline on X, it has not been ugly. It hasn't been bad. And, but we're still going to beat you.
Thank you so much. And that's going to be a game I'm going to enjoy watching. I'm not in it, but I'll enjoy watching the game. So
yeah, it's going to be a great game. We can get into that one, but it very much is, we're pretty evenly matched up on that one. So
it will be a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Merry Christmas, everyone. Thanks for hanging with us, and we'll see you soon. Bye. Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys.